Did you know that Ralph Macchio and Martin Kove are the only two actors in the entire saga who have been featured in all the Karate Kid movies and all the Cobra Kai seasons? So I've been patiently waiting for part 2 of Cobra Kai to come out. It's been a few months since the last one, and so my excitement could not be contained. And I just want to share my thoughts on the first episode, what I liked, what I didn't like, what my hopes and my theories are for the rest of this season. So the first thing I liked about this first episode was I liked the new characters and the new dojos that we got introduced to. Just the whole thinking beyond just the valley, the whole Cobra Kai and Miyagi Do. There's so many more dojos out there, so many different kinds of martial art forms out there, and better fighters and unique styles out there, and we get to see that whole world be opened up. Easily my favorite dojo is the Iron Dragons. They're actually quite a mysterious dojo. I'm not really sure what kind of style they use. I'm not sure if we'll find out more of the style of martial arts that they utilize, but they are a force to be reckoned with. Just seeing them and how they handle themselves, how they're just ruthless and brutal, and to make Cobra Kai look weak is not an easy feat to do. I'd say they kind of use a psychological advantage at times when it comes to fighting. And I kind of wonder if Terry Silver might be behind the Iron Dragons, because that seems kind of like a fighting style that he would use. We got some new characters introduced here, and obviously a couple of my favorite ones right off the bat are from the Iron Dragons. We got Sensei Wolf, portrayed by Luwis, and we got Zara, and then Axel as well. All three of my new favorite characters are all from Iron Dragons, and I know the actress who plays Zara is a real-life karate champion. It's just kind of a breath of fresh air to see new enemies, new opponents, that whole just getting back into the world of karate, getting back into it, how serious some of these people actually take karate. They eat, they breathe karate, that's all they do. They don't have time for anything else in life. Second thing I liked about this first episode is the fight choreography just keeps getting better and better. I'm pretty sure that Cobra Kai was either nominated for an Emmy or won an Emmy for the fight choreography, and it's well deserved. It's really top-notch choreography, and I do know that some of the actors in Cobra Kai actually are martial artists, so that does help a lot with making it look as smooth as possible, as realistic as possible. Just having the choreography being stepped up a notch, but also just the uniqueness of the Sekai Taikai. Just all these different ways of fighting and different ways of competition unlocks different ways of seeing how martial arts can be used and seeing how people will utilize their karate that they've learned, and if they adapt or not. So it's just one of those really exciting things to watch in the world of karate. And then I'd say one of my favorite things about this first episode is I liked how the atmosphere and the overall tone of this first episode had to do with balance. Not only balance with Miyagi Do being in a completely different country, far from home. The levels have been up to as high as they can go. The pressure is overwhelming. They're trying to represent they want to do their very best, because a lot of things are hinging on them winning, and they're all at the end of their high school career, high school time. They're looking to college, they're looking to whatever's next for them, and most of these people want to win, because if they do end up winning, lots of their futures will be more steady, will look brighter than the alternative of them not making it. Each one of the characters, they're all off balance for a whole lot of reasons. It's a very unique approach. I mean, it could have gone any way. So I was always open to the possibility of maybe when Miyagi Do is presented in front of the world, in front of all these different dojos, they're very unique. Miyagi Do is amazing. But putting them in front of all of these dojos from all around the world, it kind of makes you wonder what other kind of styles are out there, and is Miyagi Do really the right style to go with? How does it compare with everybody else? And of course, the new villain that has been introduced, Sensei Wolf. I want to see so much more of him. He looks formidable, he's just so mysterious. There's not much we know about him. Right now what we know is he is an incredible sensei. He knows how to handle himself, he knows how to handle his students, and he is going to be very, very tough to beat as these episodes progress. Things I didn't like about this first episode is the same old with there's always that division, there's always that disagreement between Daniel and Gianni and whose karate is best. And for the last like 2 seasons, that's all they fought about. And I thought they were kind of done with it. They weren't. They still kept their petty rival going, their petty arguments, and I'm done with it. Like, I was just so done with it during part 1, and they still keep going. Like, is there nothing else they can do with writing or something? Like, they gotta resolve it, because it's kind of taking away the overall energy and the overall intrigue I have in the show and the storyline and the plot, because when you keep recycling the same old things, you get bored, you get kind of disinterested. And then I'd say the other thing I didn't really like is Miyagi Do was presented in a way of they were a joke, and I felt like that was a pretty big like disgrace to Miyagi himself, but also a disgrace to just how much Miyagi Do can influence the world, and just how they were portrayed like in front of the world's eyes. I know Chosen was going through some things, but that moment kind of bothers me. Like, he was going through some heartbreak, and how he was acting was reflecting on, you know, Miyagi Do. And so they all look at him like, you know, they're a joke, they're pathetic, they're drunks. Like, I didn't like how Miyagi Do was portrayed in this first episode, because we know they're the real deal. Like, we've seen Miyagi Do in action I don't know how many times, and they can go against anybody. And the fact that they kind of made Miyagi Do to be a joke, be anything but an amazing type of karate, bothered me a little bit. And then lastly, my hopes for the rest of this season is I'm hoping to see a lot more of the Iron Dragons in action. Maybe we'll get some more backstory into the Iron Dragons, Zara, Axel, Sensei Wolf. Just, I want to know more about them. Mr. Miyagi, right now Mr. Miyagi does not look very good. Right now Mr. Miyagi has been painted in a very negative light. How his legacy and how his memory is kind of being tarnished by all these questions and doubts and unknowns that Daniel has, and then he's hoping to find some answers while he's in Barcelona. Chosen, I kind of want to see some redemption for him. I want him to simply get Kumiko at the end, get the girl at the end, because I think he really does deserve Kumiko. Also, I'm hoping Miguel steps up. I'm hoping Miguel gets more recognition. I think they've nerfed Miguel too long. We all know that Miguel is the better fighter. I really think Miguel should have been the captain. I still do. I'm going to die on that hill. Miguel is the better fighter. I think he has more heart. I think he has more motivation than Robbie does, and he's a lot more focused than Robbie is. And then Terry Silver. My best guess is Terry Silver is behind the Iron Dragons just because of how ominous they are, and Terry Silver is a very ominous figure. So I want to see more of Terry Silver. I want to see how he's going to come into play, and he's going to do something crazy in the Sekai Taikai, and I can't wait to see what happens. For the first episode of part 2 of Cobra Kai, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 Mudflaps. And remember to leave me a thumbs up and drop in the comments below. Who's your favorite dojo in the Sekai Taikai? See you next time.